Was there much of a choice for you to go to college after high school, or was it, you know, your dad and his family had all gone to Pacific? What led you to go to Corvallis?
My two sisters.
The two sisters had gone to Corvallis and liked it there, and
Adele and I were there together for years, I guess.
I see.
Bobby only lasted a little over a year, and she was too nervous to take any courses and such.
She dropped out?
So she dropped out, and she always had good jobs, but did beautifully, but the pressure of that got to her. That could be from my mother, because see, my mother never went to college or anything, so what she did. But Dad didn't have any trouble, and none of the Peterses did, so I take it that it was the Donaldsons.
Was it hard on your dad when your sister dropped out of school?
I don't imagine he gave her any hassle with it, but I'm sure he was disappointed. But they also realized that health-wise it was the best thing.
What about, do you remember where you were when you heard news about Pearl Harbor?
College.
I mean, do you remember the circumstances of someone running in and going, hey, guess what just happened, or whatever?
And we had some Japanese girls living on the same floor.
Waldo Hall?
Yeah, and never once did we see them after that. They wouldn't come out of their rooms. The boys, the football players and such that were there to play, begged them to come out and such, and they wouldn't come out, and they disappeared in the middle of the night. So we never got to ever see them.
Well, they came out because they were ashamed, or because they were afraid they were going to get snatched away by the...
I don't have any idea. We never knew because of it.
Was it a huge surprise, or was it like, well...
It was a huge surprise.
It was a huge surprise that it happened, but was there a feeling like one of these days something's going to happen and we're going to probably be at war with Japan and Germany?
Yeah, well, probably. And we all felt so bad for the Japanese. I mean, we all loved them, and we just, it was just unheard of to have any.
It must have been in a place like Corvallis where ROTC was such a huge thing at that time, and the university and the military were really pretty well tied together back in the 40s.
Not until recently, when I've gone to lectures around here and different things, did I realize that they felt mistreated and such. You know, I thought we were doing it to protect them, and that was the appearance we always had. It wasn't that we were trying to get rid of them or anything of the sort, that we thought they were traitors or that they were going to do anything. It was just to protect them that we...
Protect them from racist people that might take it out on them?
And or anybody who lost a child over there would be...
Take out of revenge.
Yeah, and that's why they were put in camps, was because they were trying to protect them, but of course they were also having to interview them and that sort of thing to make sure they weren't here. But now when when Bill graduated from college, his mother said she can remember one of the Japanese boys coming down and shaking hands with Bill and saying something to the effect, I'll see you in a few years. And that always bothered her. She thought he must have known this was coming. This was before it had come.
But when you speak of these Japanese girls, they're really American girls of Japanese descent. It's not like they're Japanese foreign exchange students or something.
But see, I never graduated.
So you went to college for 2 years.
3.
3 years.
And when Pearl Harbor came along, in between, that was in the summer, I went the next year. And it was June.
Wait a minute. Pearl Harbor happened in December.
December, all right. I
And you went
through
through
to June.
to June of 41.
Mm-hmm.
And then that summer you decided
That was it.
you were going to stop and do what?
Work.
And how did you approach finding a job?
Must have applied. I don't know.
What sort of a job would you have wanted to find?
It was secretarial.
In Portland or
Yeah,
Corvallis?
in Portland. Mm-hmm.
And so where did you work?
I worked for amp company, Wolf Electric.
Oaf Electric.
Still was around in Salem.
Huh.
And I was in the Portland. We had a direct line that way. I got on with S&M Lamp Company, which was the big lamps that they did at shipyards and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And I was there until I got married.
So were those jobs in some way connected to the war effort?
Well, the lamp company would have been.
Let's see. So how did you meet either of the Weatherly boys?
Went down to spend the weekend in Corvallis with a girlfriend, and she got a chance to go to a dinner dance or something at Camp Adair, and so she insisted that I had to get a date all up, and this was a blind date for Bill and a blind date for me, and Wendell was an SAE across the street from the Wi-Fi house, so he brought Bill over and knew the girl that was going to introduce it.
So your friend knew Wendell?
No, she.
Oh.
Well, maybe she did. Somebody in the house did, though.
And that would have been around when?
February 13th, I think it was, of...
42 or 43?
No, it would have been in 43, I guess.
43. So by then, Bill would have been...
In the service. He was in the service.
Graduated, right, already.
Yeah, he graduated in 41, and he was in the service and at Camp Adair. And supposedly he was taking Wendell's laundry home to his mother. He was going home for the weekend and left a reclining thing on him, and he couldn't go. So when he told Wendell he couldn't leave the area, Wendell decided he should be going to this dance with, so he got him a date, and he wasn't very happy about having a date. And we took all...
He wasn't very happy about having a date or about having a blind date?
Both. We had all the liquor for the party, because he was the only one coming to Corvallis. And so we informed that we had all the liquor, and we would get a royal greeting when we got there, and that was true. All the officers were out on the sidewalk waiting for Bill to pull up. Nice. And he informed me that he didn't drink, so I would be safe in going home. And it was a terribly, terribly foggy night. And my sister and her future husband I'd gone down with them, and they were at a dance also. They were at a local dance. And he was up on the sidewalk. He couldn't see a thing in the fog, but Bill knew the area well enough that he stayed on the pavement. We made it fine.
How did date number 2 come around?
I don't know. I guess he just must have called. I think he came home for it. I mean, later, but I think he just called and asked me out.
So from meeting in February to getting married in October.
No, November.
November. That's about 9 months worth of dating.
Exactly. It was February 13th, and it was
November 13th. And when was the proposal made?
By telephone. No, let's see. Did he call? Probably by Uncle Sam. Mail.
He mailed you a proposal?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's about all we...
There was
I guess it would be a phone call probably, too.
There was no bended knee and an
Oh,
offer
no,
of a
no,
ring?
no. He was down south when it all happened.
In Texas?
No, it was in Georgia.
Georgia.
Mm-hmm. And in Georgia.
So how much had you actually seen of him before?
Up until, well, let's see, about every weekend or every other weekend until he left, which was 5.
Okay.
He was back there, I think, 3 months, and he in about the 1st of September, and when I went back, I'll go and met him. But anyway, about June or July, he...
What's it, early 40s, America's going to war. What's it like to start dating a soldier or get engaged to a soldier that you know is going to leave and go off to war and perhaps put himself in mortal harm?
I don't know. I'm not sure that we really thought he would leave. I mean, you kind of...
You kept thinking, hey, this war's not going to last very long?
And he had a good, he was a supply officer, and they needed him here as well as over, and we just were... Anyway, I think that was probably the reasoning, because I don't think I necessarily thought he was going to leave. Until you get married and you live with the situation, then you realize that. But when you're just dating somebody, you don't realize it's going to happen.
So he may have actually proposed to you via Western Union, telegraphed you or something like that.
No, I think probably.
In a phone call?
Yeah, I think it was probably a phone call. And I remember...
was there anything romantic about it?
No. But I do remember that I was stalling, and that Adele's friend that she went with in high school was over there seeing her. And when it was all over, they went out for a drive or something, and he asked Adele how serious I was, and Adele said she didn't really know, and he said, well, tell her to decide, because he said, I've seen too many soldiers flunk out because they get so frustrated over it. They want to get married, and the girl's putting them on the hold. So if he don't let her just pull him along, if she tell her to make up her mind.
So you would have responded to that proposal with, I want to think about it?
Yeah. Yeah. He kept at it.
Tell me about the first time he kissed you.
Oh, good idea.
Okay.
I don't. Not the faintest idea. I don't know how many times we went out before it happened, or...
Yeah. Did he like going on dates?
Yeah.
Movies? Drive-ins?
Yeah, mostly dances, I think.
Dances.
Yeah.
Was he a good dancer?
Oh, pretty good. Mm-hmm.